WCNC Charlotte, this is Flashpoint.
Thanks for joining us here on Flashpoint. I'm Ben Thompson. This week, a lot of new faces will join CMS's Board of Education. It all comes after 3 incumbents lost their seats in the historic November election. And they'll have a lot to tackle, from falling test scores to the search for a new superintendent. It all comes as the district's interim leader, Hugh Hadabaugh, set to step down at the end of this month. CMS now looking for its 6th superintendent in less than 10 years. This morning you'll hear from 2 of the 5 newly elected school board members. They've nicknamed themselves the Fresh Five. Joining us now, CMS board member-elect Lisa Kline. Come Tuesday, she's going to represent the district, 5th district, which includes most of South Charlotte and Matthews. Lisa, thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.
All right, so you won a close race by a few thousand votes. With all these new faces coming onto the board, what do you think that in and of itself signals about where CMS stands going into next year?
Well, I think it signals a change from what the community wants. They wanted change. And we call ourselves Fresh Five. You know, we've been calling ourselves different things, but I think it's the community wants change, and then we are the agents of that change, and we have to listen to what the community wants. We're striving now, doing a lot of team building, meeting together, because we can meet until we become board members, and just building that collegial spirit that is needed to do what needs to be done in the community, for the community and for the children.
To that point, you sort of had a lot of different grassroots organizations that backed you in your campaign. How would you describe, who are you going to be the voice for on the board?
I like to think that I'm the voice not only for the children and the parents, but I have a unique perspective as being an educator, and 29 plus years in CMS and 40 years of just education in general. So I like to think I'm going to be a combination. I have a lot of students that are now parents in the district, and I hope that I continue to be that voice, because it's got to be a common sense approach to what we're doing, and we've gotten away from that. I was a history teacher and in CMS, along with being a foreign language teacher. And I like to look at the history of CMS and look at how what changes occurred and what's broken down in the past few years and how we can get back on track. So I like to think that I'm going to be that voice of everybody. And yes, it was a grassroots effort.
You all are going to be doing a juggling act. There's going to be a lot of different priorities you have. Treat this like a triage situation. What would be your number 1 or number 2 priority, knowing that, and I'm going to get to this, there's a superintendent selection that's going to have to happen. But aside from that, for just a second, what do you feel like is your biggest 1 or 2 priorities?
Well, I started already getting the parent phone calls and the parent emails. We're looking at redistricting. And the school district goes through a redistricting and realignment of lines every 6 years. And in South Charlotte, there is a high school relief that's opening up off of Johnston Road and North Community House. So that is going to be a major priority, because we've got to look at that and get it right. I mean, for so long, the district's drawn lines here, there, and right now we have to get it right for this next group and for this next 6 years. So that is a priority. And of course, everybody knows that the number 1 thing is the superintendent, and we have to get that right. And we've got to have that person in place during by the beginning of school. So that's number 1. And number 2 for me, and I'm very fortunate with Summer Nunn, who is District 6. We've been going to a lot of meetings, and other board members have been joining us to see what is needed in this area, because it's not just South Charlotte, it's going to affect everybody, and we want to make it right.
Back to the superintendent search. In your mind, What are you going to be looking for in the ideal candidate?
You know, I've sat in on a lot of the community-based surveys, and that, I don't know if you can find that perfect person. It's going to be hard. I was fortunate to work under some really good superintendents. I worked under John Murphy. That shows you how long I've been in the district. Eric Smith, Peter Gorman, James Hughesley, Francis Haycock. So I'd like to find a combination of everybody like that who can be charismatic, who can reach the community, who can bring us together. And then on top of that, make sure that we are closing the gap, because at one time we were on course and we've gotten off course, and we've got to
Let me stop you right there. Let me stop you right there because you say we've gotten off course. Since, say, Peter Gorman, which was 2007, 2008, we have had a list of superintendents. What do you think has gone wrong in the selection process in that 10, 15-year time span?
One of the things I think is that they didn't really understand Mecklenburg County. And Mecklenburg County is huge and it keeps growing. And the culture of the unique culture of our community, and how to bridge those gaps, because the west side is very different from the east side, and the north and the south. You've got to find somebody who can understand that. And while you're focusing on one area, not forgetting. And I think sometimes we zero in on one thing, and you still have all these other things going on. So you've got to have a good support system. And they didn't have that. And the other thing that, and I'm on record, I want a superintendent that's not using Mecklenburg County and CMS as the stepping stone for something better. They can't have one foot in the door and one foot out. So I'm really going to push that as part of their contract. I don't know if I can do that or not.
Sure.
Hopefully we can. That they are committed to CMS for minimum of 3 years, hopefully 5 years, without consulting, not using us as, hey, I'm doing such a great job here, let me promote myself to something bigger and better.
As a springboard.
They've got to be commitment.
Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Have a good day.
All right, take care. We speak to another new member of the CMS board coming up after this.